Hello YouTubers, this is a noobifier. I love it when a good startup product is designed by a small company, when someone thinks outside the box. These are the unique ideas that are born out of the need, and in this case, that need is to take an idea that others have but implement it to a level that you would expect from a larger company. Today I'm speaking about LukeClip. LukeClip is best known for its wireless head-mounted targets that are meant to replace the standard IR blaster for Track IR5. These were tested and reviewed many years ago, and it's still operating without any issue. In September 2023, Luke reached out to me with an offer to test a new product, and I do need to stop now and go up a level to provide a little bit of context. As gamers and sim enthusiasts, we do have standard peripherals such as keyboard, mice, game controllers, and joysticks. Born out of the need for more, companies struggle to meet the demand. And these become the mouse with many macro buttons, the keyboard that can completely swap its layout to suit the game that's being played. We have Virpil with a set of 3 extra panels offering tactile buttons. We have Game Glass with user programmable active touchscreen MFDs. We have Icon City who make custom icons for use with Stream Deck type button boxes. And then we have crazy things like Turtle Beach who merged our user programmable touchscreen into the throttle base of their new HOTAS. Review pending. Real Sim Gear making a replica of a Garmin G1000 flight computer, and the list is endless. These companies are always wanting to evolve to suit our needs, but sometimes your solution is a lot easier than that, or at least it can be. The LukeClip HID platform is an expandable, modular game controller that's the ideal starting point to make what you need. Add control to an existing device, build a button box using a small project box, build a button panel using a plate of aluminum. At the core is the controller, and each HID controller is able to support up to 20 regular switches, 20 impulse switches, 10 rotary encoders, 2 D-pad style controllers, and 8 analog axes each. You can mix and match what is connected. So the 20 regular switches can be either a switch or a button. The 2-way toggle switch is perfect for items like lights, landing gear, wipers, anything that needs to be turned on and off with a switch. And then the momentary button is perfect for items such as starter motors, flash to pass high beams, releasing countermeasure, resetting your view in VR, resetting your car back to pit, anything that must be active as long as the button is pushed down. With those 20 are a further 20 impulse switches, which can also be switches or buttons. An impulse will only create a blip like a key press each time it's cycled, so as long as you don't need to push and hold the binding, you can use these 20 impulse bindings. Next, a rotary encoder is a dial that when turned works like a pair of impulse bindings. Turning left or right will impulse a binding, which is perfect for controlling anything that has a plus or minus key range. Zoom in or out, ABS plus or minus, traction control plus or minus. These switches also have a secondary that is a little bit more complicated, and that creates an individual blip between 1 and 10. So you have more flexibility here to bind the position, not just the rotation. It has a lot of unique possibilities, but for brevity and to maintain the momentum, I'm going to continue to the dial potentiometer, which is analog 0 to 100. These work like a dimmer switch, and they're perfect for controlling an axis that needs granular control. This dial is better suited for controlling mining laser outputs or flaps on an airplane, anything that needs to be controlled by an axis. A variation on this dial is next, which is the trim potentiometer. It is also an axis dial, but it can rotate indefinitely, registering either positive or negative directions. It's called trim because it's best suited to produce the very fine adjustment like you would see on a trim wheel in an aircraft. And then we end on the D-pad and the dual analog, which are familiar if you've used a game controller. The D-pad is that up, down, left, right switch, and the dual analog is a mini joystick. Hopefully all of that sounds great and your mind is already exploring the nearly limitless custom panels. And that's where Luke comes in. The controller is €55 plus shipping, and then each switch or dial is available individually. The switch comes attached to the wire and terminated by the correct plug, which makes this pretty much plug and play. The push button and the toggle switches are €3 each. Rotary encoders are 6 plus 2 for the dial. Both analog potentiometers are €5, and it's 6 for the 5-way D-pad. And you can ask about the availability of the dual analog mini stick, and as I round out the rest of the video, I should speak about my experiences. Full plug and play. The setup shows up in Windows as any other controller. To check for buggy performance or dropouts, I've had it plugged into my laptop for the last 43 days, and it hasn't reset or dropped out. You may think that the prices seem high, but you should consider the investment in design and fabrication that Luke has done to release this. Luke has basically brought you all the way up to 95%, where all you need to do is design the perfect panel layout and plug in some wires. If you change your mind, you simply need to get a new panel, drill out new holes where you want them, add or subtract the switches that you need, and you're done. revolutionary, and evolutionary. Thank you very much for spending your time with me. Luke does not have a formal website, but he does have an email and a Facebook site as a means of contacting him. It's first come, first serve, and having dealt with Luke for over 6 years, I can tell you that you're going to be very well taken care of. Contact info is linked in the description. Fly safe.